amongst me. I want to come to you, Mr. Owaisi, first. My question to you is intolerance. The favorite word for those who wanted to attack the Prime Minister of this country. Intolerance remained a favorite word for quite some time because around that a lot of politics was done. Now it seems it's insecurity, minority phobia, which has actually been played up by none other than the outgoing Vice President. Do you agree?
I strongly disagree with you, and I would request you that please do not use such words for the Vice President of India who had spoken the truth. And please remember that the Vice President of India is also an Indian. He is a citizen. He has said what is the truth, what is happening on the ground. And one must please remember that Hamid Ansari comes from a family of freedom fighters who had given numerous sacrifices for this country. And Hamid Ansari is not a career politician. He was a career diplomat. And I would say that after Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, he is the only scholarly vice president that the country has seen so far. And I don't know whether in my lifetime I'll be seeing another scholarly vice president. Please also remember that read the speeches, 530 speeches Mr. Hamid Ansari as vice president has made. In various speeches, he has cautioned the government. And even in the pertinent, the relevant interview which you are quoting, he has said that he has brought this to the notice of the Prime Minister. He has brought this to the notice of the Council of Ministers. Now, Vice President cannot be Prime Minister, cannot be Home Minister, cannot be Chief Minister. He has definitely brought this apprehension, this insecurity to the Prime Minister and to the government. And unfortunately, the government has not risen up, the government has not reacted, and he is absolutely right that there is a sense of insecurity which is creeping in, which is unfortunate. I would request the government to take it in the right spirit and to address the issue which has been highlighted by the Honorable Vice President of India.
Absolutely. This is a point, Sambit Patra, that the Vice President has raised before, even when he was in a convocation ceremony at Punjab University. He said that a lot of viewpoints of a particular party is being forced through an agenda. He's pointed all this before. Why try and blame him and run him down? This is the time when he's leaving his office. He just made a statement which a lot of people are making around the country. A lot of lynching has led people to believe that the minorities are actually scared in the country today. Because please remember, I know you want to tell me about RSS killings, but do remember, sir, that these are incidents that are happening on the street by ordinary people. And actually, because of the attire or because of the religion, some people have been lynched.
Anjana, some people have been lynched. That was the exact word you ended with. If some people has been lynched, which is unfortunate, that does not make India a lynchistan, that does not denounce India's stature in the world category. Very importantly, there is a famous Sanskrit saying, Satyam vadah priyam vadah. Tell the truth. Never shun away from telling the truth, but say it politely. So today, since Mr. Hamid Ansari is a respected person, he is the Vice President of this great country, I would speak the truth, but I would speak it very politely. Number one, I firmly believe that the people who are supposed to uphold the constitution of this country should only uphold the constitution of this country because they are in the high constitutional positions, and they should refrain from upholding political ideologies from whom they are born. Over here, I'm very sorry to say,
what's the political ideology here?
That the present...
What's the political ideology?
I'm telling that.
Yeah.
I'm telling that. The two words that have been used by Mr. Hamid Ansari time and again over here is unease and insecurity.
Yeah.
And Anjana, let me tell you without any mincing of words that, well, yes, if there is some sense of unease and insecurity, it is within the powers of corridors of our opposition parties. The opposition parties and the ideology of the Congress party, which they feel they cannot sustain today because of the hard work that the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is putting in, because of the hard work and the strategy that Mr. Amit Shah is putting in, they have made India into a lynchistan. Please fight it politically. Don't demean India. And let me tell you, Mr. Hamid Ansari is no second person, or he is not just a Rahul Gandhi who is making a statement. For God's sake, he is the present Vice President of India. So when he says that India is a country which has become unlivable for Muslims, remember, from the BBC to the most important newspapers across the world, including American newspapers and other newspapers, would be quoting it tomorrow as the headlines, saying that Indian democracy has failed, and who else but the Vice President of India is saying. And today I was listening very intently to what the
question for you, Mr. Owaisi.
I'll just complete in 10 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. Make your point fast.
Today
Make your point fast.
Today I was listening to Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad's speech. Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad said that I know Mr. Hamid Ansari loves playing golf. I also love playing golf. Today we are not getting time to play golf. Tomorrow we'll play golf. Anjana, let me submit very humbly. There is a small elite group in the Lutyens, Delhi, this golf playing group, which had the sense of entitlement that they would rule this country for time immemorial. We have a Prime Minister today, a Garib Prime Minister, a Chaiwala Prime Minister who has risen to the ranks of an ordinary India to become the Prime Minister of this great democracy. And suddenly all these golf-playing elites feel that this country is no more livable because their entitlement, their sultanate, their sultanhood has been taken off. This is the reason as to why we hear such words as insecurity and unease while none such exist on the ground.
Fine. Mr. Owaisi, my question is very clear. Actually, he's trying to point out that he has relations with the Congress party affiliation, and that is why he's actually talking and saying these words. But I want to take this question to an absolutely different level, sir. Does this fear that Hamid Ansari talked about, does this fear only exist in the opposition? Because politics for a very long time in this country has meant minority appeasement, and secularism also became a synonym of minority appeasement. My question, very simple and very clear, in few words is, we all have immense respect for the seat of the Vice President. But does this amount to defaming the country? Is there actually a situation where Muslims are in absolute fear? They can't move out because we see people living normally around us. But this fear is actually being talked about or made just a political card. Does this amount to defaming the country, sir?
Well, let me just reply to the BJP spokesperson. I don't play golf and I don't have time to play golf, but I am pretty much sure that there are many BJP people who also play golf. Now, your question about minority appeasement, I want to know if there was minority appeasement, then why would Kundu committee say that justice has not been done? The Kundu committee has given a report to this government, which is, I don't know, which is lying in some dustbin of Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi's office. Thirdly, Hamid Ansari has pointed out the truth, and it is for the government to take it in a very serious way, that when a Vice President of India is saying that a sense of insecurity is there, he has not said unlivable. He has said sense of insecurity has been created. Let the government address this issue. See, the problem is what happens to Ghulam Nabi or Hamid Ansari or Owaisi is not. The problem is people who go on train to celebrate Eid are being killed. People who do not have toilet in their homes who go out, when he stops to photograph, they are killed. So, and please differentiate, as you rightly said, what happens in Kerala, these are political murders which has to be condemned. What is happening now these are religious murders which has to be equally condemned. And I am pretty much sure that BJP will not take note of it. You know, you can win elections, but please listen to me. Yeah. Please listen, let me finish. Yeah. Winning elections does not mean that you abdicate your constitutional responsibility of providing security to the Indian citizens who are minorities in this country and who have right to life is a fundamental right, which this government, instead of promoting cultural nationalism, should have promoted constitutional nationalism. Believe me, the day BJP promotes constitutional nationalism, in a matter of time, not in days but in months, things will set right. It is for the BJP to take note of it. There is a climate of fear. Whether international media writes or doesn't write, see, our country is not North Korea. Our Prime Minister is not Kim Jong. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, a democratically elected Prime Minister. Yeah. And it is for him to take it in the right spirit, do some introspection, and take some rectification steps, because the water has gone over our heads.
Nationalism now just means Hindu nationalism. Is this a thought that's promoting such a situation where Muslims feel fear in this country? Sambit.
Anjana, Anjana, let me address this. First and foremost, Mr. Owaisi is saying that he does not play golf. Let me tell you, I would have been extremely happy if Mr. Owaisi would have been playing golf. He plays far more
golf.
dangerous
Let's come back to the topic.
than golf. No. Far more dangerous games than golf, and that is called as appeasement and communalism. Coming to the point over here, you said that is it Hindu nationalism which has taken over, as the Vice President also pointed out in a recent event. मैं आपको बताता हूँ अंजना जी और ओवैसी जी, सुन लीजिए, अगर ये हिंदू असर्टिव होता, अरे हिंदू के अपने इष्ट देव भगवान राम के नाम पर एक टुकड़ी जमीन आप लोग नहीं दे रहे हैं। 500 वर्षों से हिंदू भिक्षा मांग रहा है कि जमीन चाहिए, जहां उसके राम का जन्म हुआ वो जमीन की टुकड़ी नहीं मिल रही है, और आप बोल रहे हैं हिंदू इंटॉलरेंट है। You go to the extent of saying that Hindus are killing people on streets. So please, I beg of you, don't demean Hindus in this way. अगर हिंदू ऐसा होता ना, 20% मुसलमान आबादी में बढ़ोतरी नहीं हो जाती। पाकिस्तान में जाके देखिए, वहां 20% से 2% हो गए हैं हिंदू। वहां होता है जो कल्चरल नेशनलिज्म की बात आप कर रहे हैं ना, उम्मा, इस्लामिक उम्मा कहां मौजूद है, वो पाकिस्तान में देखिए। दूसरी बात, आपने बार बार कहा कि यहाँ इंटॉलरेंस का माहौल है, there is a kind of intolerance in this country. And when you go to Kerala, you talk about the butchering of Dalits in Kerala. Recently, Rajesh was butchered, his hands were chopped off. That you leveled as political killings. That is political killing, and these are all hateful killings. You said that Muslims going out to read namaz are killed on the streets. Have you gone out on a day of Friday? Go out on a day on a Friday in India. What doesn't happen in UAE would be happening in India. Every second street, main streets in India are blocked because our Muslim brothers have to read namaz. And you say that this country is intolerant? These things don't even happen in proclaimed Muslim states. Two people, both of them from film fraternity, they raise democratically issues about azan, waking them up at 4:30 in the morning, and you people abuse these two people, one woman and a male, to an extent that they had to leave their social media and
Mr.
run away.
Owaisi, let Mr. Owaisi respond to that.
Who is intolerant?
Let
The Hindus are intolerant or the Muslims are intolerant?
Sambit, Mr. Patra, let Mr. Owaisi respond to that.
Well, I am thankful to the BJP spokesperson to speak in this tone and tenor, which clearly shows to the whole world that he is speaking as a person who believes in Hindutva, which wants to ensure that the Muslims become second-class citizens. Look at his argument.
Oh, I should not believe in Hindutva also.
What of
I
500
should say that I'm not a Hindu.
Talking about,
this is what you want.
Listen to me. Please don't see. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, so have the patience to hear what I'm saying. I know truth hurts you.
Please continue.
We are talking about a democratically elected government, which, yes, thank you. The Constitution gives me the right to practice religion, not because of you. I have nothing to do with Pakistan. I rejected Jinnah. I rejected Savarkar, because these are the two people who talked about two-nation theory. I am living here as an Indian, and the Constitution is supreme. Cultural nationalism is different, which promotes intolerance. This is what Hamid Ansari said. And Mr. Sambit Patra, I am not a spokesperson of Muslim countries. I have taken oath on the Constitution as a member of Parliament. It is you who are in power, and you, as being a party in power, have failed in your constitutional duty, because you are promoting your ideology of Hindutva, which is not inclusive, which is exclusive. You treat me in this way because of the words you just used, because for me, India is not a motherland, holy land. That is why you speak to me in that way. That is why you are threatening me that I live in India because of your whims and desires. No, sir. I live in India because I'm an Indian and have supreme confidence in the Constitution. Governments like BJP will come and go. Your duty is to protect life and limb, which you have completely failed. And madam, let me complete.
Okay.
Mr. Sambit Patra, you are diverting from the main issue. Hamid Ansari, as a vice president, is an Indian. He has all the right to express his views. You want to ensure that you don't agree. But you cannot put a question mark about his nationalism. You cannot question his loyalty to the nation. That you cannot.
Who is putting his nationalism?
Quick two-line response to that, Mr. Patra.
No one is questioning the nationalism of anyone. We are talking on points. Let me remind you, Anjana, as to how Manmohan Singh, the fountainhead of the particular political ideology, had said that the resources of India belong to the minority community, the Muslim community first, and thereafter to anyone else. That is what Mr. Ansari and the Congress party, in fact, espouses. That it all belongs to the Muslim community first, and thereafter the Hindus or others matter. So naturally, when this government says justice for all and appeasement of none, naturally it hurts the ideological people who...
I'm afraid we'll have to end it here. Thank you, Mr. Owaisi and Mr. Patra for joining us. But we cannot get into this cycle as a country of mind.